This is what the lawyers have been writing, and I just want you to give us an understanding what does it mean, because it goes on to say, and I'm quoting, that we call upon the court to take suo motu clarify as far as in its judgment was not intended to have any adverse consequences whatsoever. The absence of any such clarification may lead to further consequences when bail is sought by whom those we believe have been unjustly imprisoned. What does it mean?
Well, it means nothing but a feeble attempt to kowtow and intimidate the judiciary and to ask clarification from the Supreme Court, where the order has been very clear. The Supreme Court has just made an observation that these kind of people need to put in the dock. They have not said that we direct the administration of the state or any state whatsoever to take action against Teesta Setalvad. Have they said that? It's just an observation that 16 years was a tad too long. Or 2 decades, or whatever the time period that has been mentioned, and such people should be put into the dock because there was some sort of a devious attempt by them to initiate some horrific proceedings where they were not required, just under the garb of being some indefatigable protector of human rights. So the Supreme Court is possibly going to read the letter and possibly not even going to act upon it, as it should not. Simply because, any person who's been initiated any proceedings in the state by any of the state authorities needs to deal with those state authorities in a court of law or with them the way you and I would. We don't write letters to the Chief Justice when we face proceedings from the state authorities. So likewise, just in fact, you would notice I was there with Swati earlier, some 10 minutes ago, and Nupur Sharma had pleaded to the Supreme Court saying that please bring all the matters so that because for me it's difficult to travel, it's dangerous for me to travel. And the Supreme Court made the observation that your remarks are extremely dangerous and you are responsible for this in the country. Of course, that observation does not mean that they will not grant a protection. But the point is that the Supreme Court even goes to the extent of telling the person who's seeking protection from her that, look, you are wrong on certain things. But, these observations are made by the Supreme Court. But that does not mean
Namit, if I can understand from you, because the Supreme Court clearly has mentioned Teesta Setalvad in the NGO, and thereafter it was mentioned by the Union Home Minister himself, because she has had often her run-ins with the CBI and with the investigative agency on certain misappropriation of funds. If there was no locus standi of Teesta Setalvad in the Zakir Jafri appeal, what is the problem with the lawyers writing this letter to the CGI, sir?
The very essence of this plot, and this letter is only worthy of a dustbin, nothing more than that. See, criminal law has a very basic principle of locus standi. Now, Teesta Setalvad is not, asking modification or clarification of this order from the court. There are 300 odd citizens of the country, and these are not lawyers also. They include people like Kavita Srivastava from UCL, etc. So these are not, they can't, run a proxy litigation at the behest of, a citizen who is facing the criminal machinery. It just can't work like this. This is nothing more than, worthy of a dustbin. It has to go. I think, as Mr. Kothari also pointed out, the CGI is perhaps going to read it or may not even read it and, just simply shrug it off. This is nothing more than that. This is all for the media to create a narrative, to run a propaganda. This is something very wrong is, happening to Teesta Setalvad or something. This is a very normal criminal proceedings. They have to follow the law. You can't have a parallel, CRPC for Teesta Setalvad. It just can't work like this. They have to understand this. And I'm amazed that, there are senior lawyers who have written this letter. They can't modification, this is all sponsored.
Right. Swapnil, last comment from you, because what is being questioned is what is the information on basis of which the FIR was lodged, and reports in public domain indicate that they may have been filed referring to and heavily relying upon passages from the judgment of the Supreme Court and some critical observation.
No. So, Amita, that is not the actual reason why these proceedings have been initiated. This is just a conjectural thought on behalf of the 300 people who want to say that because you wrote this, that is why this is happening. Sorry, we will not clarify. I don't think the Supreme Court needs to clarify at all. It may do so in its magnanimity, but other than that, it doesn't need to do so.